The United Kingdom, France, and Germany themselves have chronically violated UN Security Council Resolution 2231 and the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, including by imposing illegal unilateral sanctions against Iran in place of the restrictions that had expired under the plan. These countries have also flagrantly violated the procedures for addressing disputed situations as stipulated by the JCPOA, in particular by failing to initiate the dispute resolution mechanism at the Vienna platform in accordance with the prescribed procedure. The United Kingdom, France, and Germany themselves have chronically violated UN Security Council Resolution 2231 and the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, including by imposing illegal unilateral sanctions against Iran in place of the restrictions that had expired under the plan. These countries have also flagrantly violated the procedures for addressing disputed situations as stipulated by the JCPOA, in particular by failing to initiate the dispute resolution mechanism at the Vienna platform in accordance with the prescribed procedure. We would like to remind you that Resolution 2231 is a comprehensive document and does not allow for any separation between itself and the JCPOA, which was and remains its integral part. Attempts by the European countries to present the situation as if they have the right to invoke the punitive provisions of the resolution while failing to fulfill their own obligations are hypocritical and untenable, both legally and politically. That is precisely why we do not recognize the complaints submitted by Berlin, London, and Paris to the Council under the meaning of UN Security Council Resolution 2231.
We have urged Iran to address international concerns regarding its nuclear program, which the International Atomic Energy Agency has been unable to confirm is exclusively peaceful. Iran's nuclear escalation has been detailed in more than 60 reports by the IAEA over 6 years. It includes the accumulation of a high-enriched uranium stockpile, which lacks any credible civilian justification and is unprecedented for a state without a nuclear weapons program. President, the United Kingdom voted no on today's resolution because if it were adopted, it would have permanently terminated 6 Council resolutions on Iran's nuclear program, removing this important issue from the Council's agenda. Despite Iran's JCPOA non-compliance and Iran's continuing failure to implement its legal obligations under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty,
Mr. President, we have already stated our principled position today. We do not accept either the attempts by European states to trigger the snapback mechanism or the actions of the presidency in furthering these efforts, including the submission of this resolution. Our position on this matter remains unchanged. The fact that the Russian Federation voted in favor of the draft should not be interpreted as a change in our position. We supported the draft for only one reason. Its sole operative paragraph was about maintaining the suspension of UN sanctions against Iran. This is the only correct, politically and legally justified decision, the lack of alternatives to which we have emphasized throughout all these years.
China supports the continued lifting of Security Council sanctions and has voted in favor of the draft resolution. At the same time, I must emphasize that China firmly opposes certain countries' forceful push to trigger the Security Council's snapback sanctions mechanism and believes that such actions will seriously undermine efforts for a political and diplomatic solution to the Iranian nuclear issue. Mr. President, the root cause of the current deadlock over the Iranian nuclear issue is the unilateral withdrawal by the United States.
The United States thanks the Presidency for submitting this resolution, consistent with the Presidency's obligation under OP 11 of Resolution 2231. On August 28th, France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, the E3, each notified the Council of Iran's significant and ongoing non-performance of its nuclear commitments. Their case was clear. Iran has enriched uranium well above the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA limits, in a manner for which there is no credible civilian purpose. As we speak, Iran continues to not implement the IAEA's JCPOA monitoring measures and to not provisionally apply the IAEA additional protocol. The E3 could have initiated the snapback process as early as 2019. Instead, they chose to first pursue intensive diplomacy with Iran. Then, in July, the E3 offered to extend the snapback mechanism if Iran were to take steps to address concerns regarding its highly enriched uranium stockpile, comply with its IAEA obligations, and resume direct diplomacy with the United States. Despite suggestions to the contrary from Iran and others, Tehran has not yet fulfilled those conditions. The United States therefore voted no on this resolution, and we are pleased that this resolution was not adopted due to not receiving the requisite number of yes votes.
Pakistan voted in favor of the draft resolution. Our position on this matter has been guided by the following. First, the firm belief that all issues concerning Iran's nuclear program must be resolved by peaceful means through dialogue and cooperation. Second, the need to provide more time for diplomacy to succeed. Third, the imperative of avoiding a confrontation that could further complicate the situation. And fourth, to preserve the framework of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action and Resolution 2231 for reaching an amicable solution without resorting to coercive measures until such time that a successor arrangement or a new deal is reached.